Welcome, everyone, to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest with fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to May. Have an exciting week this week, culminating in Elon Musk. You know, we talk about Elon Musk quite a bit, but he is you're going to be the guest host of Saturday Night Live, and there's already a bunch of controversy, surrounding that. So I'm actually going to watch that live for once, which I never do. I generally catch the clips on YouTube later on because I subscribe to a little channel there. It's a lot more efficient than watching it live, but I just can't wait to see it live and see how he does and see if there's all kinds of fallout from it. But from an investing standpoint, do you buy into Dogecoin ahead of his being on Saturday Night Live? I would say that's a complete gamble. That's not investing. But that's a good segue into, or do you buy Tesla stock just because the CEO is going to be on Saturday Night Live? I would say no, that's gambling. But if you think if that's your thesis for your trading plan, then hop in and execute your thesis, right? I'm not going to do any of that, but I'm certainly going to watch out of sheer curiosity. But that's a nice segue into today's topic, which is Warren Buffett's annual meeting, and that was this weekend. Becky Quick has been a longtime host of interviewing both Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they're getting up there a little bit. Warren Buffett's 90, Munger's 97. So lots of value coming out of these. I don't watch them live, or I've never gone, but I do catch the transcript and some of the outtakes from her interviews about what their message is about investing. Often considered the cornerstone of investing, but then when you really look back on the past decade, if you followed Buffett's advice, you would have missed out. You would have significantly underperformed the market. Because you would have been largely out of the big tech names, which have been the move. So I think it's interesting. It's always interesting to bring in everybody's take. Is there something to the new wave of investing, which Warren Buffett kind of calls it more gambling and gamification through what Robinhood's doing? The free. Let's offer something free. Well, if you can't figure out what the product is, you're the product, right? I think most everybody's heard that by now. You're the one getting monetized if it's free. But listening to the more focused on the investing, and is it truly, gambling versus investing, or is it just a new wave of investing? I think overall, you have to ask yourself, is it a net gain or a loss for everyone that a lot of younger folks are in the market? I tend to think that is a net gain. There's going to be, even in, he did eventually go into Apple, their Apex, finally, right? But he missed out on it for decades first. But, is it a net gain that we have a lot of younger folks out there investing, even using puts and calls, for advanced stuff that I can explain, to some more senior clients till the end of time. And it's just not going to resonate ever, right? There's just, calculus involved in a lot of these derivatives, if you will. So some pretty interesting stuff. So that was Buffett's take. Largely the sound bites that came out of Munger's take was he called Bitcoin disgusting and a mechanism for kidnappers and extortionists. Well, okay, that's a bit extreme. I think that's almost dated. You have to argue that Bitcoin is certainly around and relevant now. Will it be around forever? I think is a better question. How does the story end? I don't know. But some pretty interesting things out of this weekend. So that caveated with, are they now, what have been legends of the game, are they now going to be demonized by the millennials, and they're going to, say that they're old and out of touch and all that? So I think that's there may be some to that, but I think it kicks off an interesting controversy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. During the show, we do have the overview. I'll pull that up and hit some of the highlights of the actual interview that's on CNBC. For our topic of the day, we're going to talk volume and why volume is important, for our question of the day. And then I have long shorts in the room. Everything's low volume today because it's a Monday. If you're catching us on replay, thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell. If you want to join us live, it's $25 a month to come in the room. What you don't see is a Q&A window and a chat window where folks communicate with me, and I'm able to answer their questions at real time, easily worth your $25 a month of value. With that, let's go ahead and get started. welcome back, everyone. Here's our lineup card for the day, Monday, May 3rd. All right, make sure you have your chat window or your Q&A window set up appropriately. Standard disclaimer information applies. You have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything you hear in the show today. Full disclaimer information is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, mission objectives for today: grow our money, protect our money, live off our money, and really focusing on our long-term and topic of the day, which is the Warren Buffett Annual Meeting and the as far as, what can we learn from this? And I think, I see your point there, Apex, about the young people, I moved my chat screen up, so that's why I'm looking up for we'll see if that works. Yeah, sample size of 5, eventually they'll become investors. Here's where I think the important part of learning is if you're a lifelong learner, you're a lifelong student in your profession, whatever that happens to be, maybe it's sales or administrative stuff or investing for me or flying jets or whatever your profession is, to where you set out over a lifetime to get good at it, and then of course extract some value of it, which means take care of yourself and your family and have nice things if you happen to get very good at what you do. Well, I think, yeah, they're gambling. I get that. And short term, Buffett was talking this weekend about 7-day, is a 7-day call option, a weekly call option in Apple. Is that really investing? What's really going to happen within Apple in 7 days that's going to move the stock? And I hear that, but here's what I would say is I think it overall is a net positive. And I think if you talk to somebody, and there's some young folks in the room, so I am in a way talking to you, even though I think you're far more advanced than your peers, because you're here, right? Pat myself on the back, but for just for some of the stuff you guys have said, you're advanced beyond your years or your investing experience, so that's good. I think what's interesting is when you do have people that trade and they get into the more of the gambling phase. It's a zero-sum game. If you make money, somebody has to lose money, right? It doesn't come out of thin air. But when you look at somebody, and what I like to say is, it's just like, yeah, you back in Apple, a few years back, and they're like, yeah, I made $50 on a trade, and it's like, well, let's just pull that chart and look about, yeah, you made $50, high five, go buy half a pair of shoes or whatever. But if you had held that stock, I think that's where the real instruction is. It's just like, if you back out of gambling mode and say, if you'd have become part owner of Apple for the past couple of years, I mean, look how much money you'd have. And then it's like, oh, right. Kind of yeah, I see what you're saying. So I do think, we're talking about volume. That's an excellent question. What is average daily volume? Volume is very helpful. Volume means price efficiency, right? So when you go in to put a market order in or a limit order, the spread is significant between the bid and ask. So that means it's much more efficient if you're moving in and out of positions. And I'm often moving 6-figure positions where the spread's a penny or inside of a penny. So it's like, okay, perfect, right? And a lot of that volume comes from trading and gambling in the market. High frequency stuff is when you see, AMC has 23 million shares that have changed hands, and there's only like 15 million outstanding. It's like, whoa, crazy. But it's very helpful. If we didn't have all that volume, and there would be some challenges in the market there. So overall, I do think it's a net gain, and I think obviously, a lot of lessons will be learned down the road. All right. As far as when you have time to reflect, right? You get older, you reflect, and you're like, okay, yeah, that wasn't what I thought it was, right? And that's called learning, and that's perfectly okay. And fortunately, for most younger folks, is you're using smaller amounts, right? So for you to lose $50 is a big deal for you. So it hurts, and you learn from it, where later on when you're dealing at 50,000, you don't make the same mistake, right? Okay, the flow today: long, short, open, short, long. We do market review, headline review. Sell in May and go away. Yeah, somebody put a video out on that Friday. Yeah, wrong, right? So I'm wrong, at least for Monday morning. We'll see about the month of May. But yeah, futures are up. Fantastic. Giddy weekend. Nice Derby race. Everybody's happy. So the markets are, Buffett made us all wise again, and everybody's buying. So I don't know. We'll see if that holds or not. I think we're going to be talking a lot more taxes here soon. All right, long-term investments. We'll look at Berkshire A and Berkshire B. Again, there's 2 share classes out there. It can be instructive. The Berkshire A is up at over $400,000 a share. Yeah, that's why there's a Berkshire B. It's because most people don't want to own a fractional share anyway. But it's a good conversation we'll have here in a minute. We have the short-term execution. I do not like any of the trades today. I may call one if it sets up. But you got LDI long, GILT long, and EL short. They're all smaller companies. They're all low volume, and they're not moving that much. It is truly a Monday morning in the market. All right, contingencies and academic resources are standard. Let's go over to TD Ameritrade Think Pipes. And again, it's always instructive to keep a long picture view. So zoom out, here's where we are. So 417, we touched 420 last week, everybody's favorite number, I guess, for the marijuana folks out there. But we've really been flatlining around this area. And, if you go to the 5-day, yeah, there was some movement here Thursday. Friday was kind of a down day, started us into that kind of negative mindset for maybe sell in May and go away, hold. No, but basically flat across the board. We could reset. Don't forget, we could reset 10% from here for no other reason than just noise and math, right? And that would get everybody excited. But 10% of 420, that's 42. Subtract that from there. I'm not going to do that because it's Monday. But we're down in this range. It's like, ooh, yeah, we're as poor as we were a month and a half ago. So remember, if these things happen, it's not that big of a deal. So I do expect some red in the market coming up. All right. And then there's our day trade setup. Again, not excited about many of those. All right, let's go over to CNBC. We will take a look at the futures there. Obviously, that is up 0.5% pretty much across the board. So we'll see if that holds. As far as the EU in the green across the board, Asia in the red across the board, actually pretty significantly in the red. COVID situation in India kind of carrying the markets there. Oil, $64, so above our range. Bonds, 1.62, not too worried about that. Gold and silver up pretty decent amount. So I think that's part of that sell in May and go away. That's what people are buying is Bitcoin and gold and silver and volatility. Crypto, Bitcoin at 58.5. So again, I exited a large position, not everybody, but exited a lot of folks out of the GBTC, Greystone. I don't have a better way to own Bitcoin. So, we're in no man's land. Honestly, there just are no good answers, and that's often the case in investing. But it is what it is. We're doing our best. I do want exposure to Bitcoin. So, all right. Here's the guy that'll take over for Berkshire Hathaway. This is Greg Abel. Buffett says very substantial inflation and raising prices. I kind of don't agree that it's going to be substantial. There's going to be some inflation, but I don't think we're looking at 5% plus. I think it'll get over 2, but I don't think it'll be runaway. So the full recap, again, I'm a little low on time, so I'm not going to go into all of it. We kind of hit the high points. Yeah, I think it's a positive thing overall. I think as you get older, you tend to distrust the younger folks out there. I think that's a very natural thing. When you really have a lot of experience, to think that people without experience, yeah, whatever. It's what our dads thought. That's what these kids will think when they're older. So I'm not really. I don't agree with that. I think everything's going to be fine. Palantir, that's a stock we love. They did hire a IBM Watson Health exec. That's like strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. Watson, the same computer that is going to cure cancer. Like, what was that 20 years ago? It's like, IBM, stop putting out your press releases and promising the world. You literally have not delivered on anything. And I'm not sure that Watson has done much of anything. But anyhow, so now Palantir is tying their horse to IBM, which makes me more concerned than anything. IBM is like the dinosaur of the tech world, right? Intel's trying to find its way into that mix, but it's pretty bad. Okay, yep, Twitter sold off. Kathy Wood bought it. Let's see, SpaceX successful mission. That's kind of a funny comment. Clorox is dead money at best. Just enjoyed that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, all right, let's take a look at Berkshire Hathaway. Now, this is one of those, I thought for years, I'm like, okay, as soon as I could afford one share, I'm going to buy a share. Well, crap. I can't afford one share, and I didn't buy it, and I'm still not buying it. So it's a holding company. It's obviously done very well. You can see the chart is basically straight up. This is, again, a 10-month chart or so. PE, it's 15 right now. I mean, it's I mean, it's attractively priced. He's never paid a dividend, so just realize that he doesn't believe in him. He thinks that if you're paying a dividend, you don't have anything else to do with your money. I think largely that's true. So anyhow, when you look at the returns are great. It's not going to touch tech returns, but it's a straight up market. When you look at, so the price point 412.5, and then you look at the B share, get my cursor to work here, it's 275. So it's not exactly like 1,000 to 1, or us having a conversation with somebody on, is it a direct reflection? Yes and no. It still moves with the market, and it's still, the numbers are almost within 1% across the board, but they're not exact. So you're not getting exactly a fractional share. So I kind of compared it to, Bitcoin's move and GBTC's move. They're correlated, but they're not exactly together. Okay, so that's enough of BRK. Is it a buy? I'd buy the B shares. You can hold some. I think that's fine. I still don't have any, and I'm probably not going out to buy it, but if you want to buy it, I think that's fine. Okay, all right, let's talk about the market open. Give me a second to get set up here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day. You're looking at the TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform. You have 4 screens in front of you. On the far left is the S&P 500. Futures are in the green. This is a 1-minute chart, so we can get the feeling for the overall market. And in the upper left, you can see that the opening bell is coming up in about 5 seconds. We have 2 longs, LDI and GILT are both longs and are short. There's our opening bell. Short is Estee Lauder over here, which is down about 4%. Low volume. I think Estee Lauder, you can see the earnings here. They that's probably my favorite out of this group. But gosh, low volume. So you can't, in a high price point, so you can't buy a ton of this stuff. But if this backs up, I think it'll be set up for a nice short. All right, the LDI, you can also see 10,000 shares. LDI is Loan Depot. If you've never heard of them, I hadn't this morning. They did beat earnings, so that was kind of a surprise, and that's why it's gapping up. 3% though, so we're not getting that core 5 to 10% that we like. And then same thing with GILT, which is the Gillot satellite network, had a major merger with Lincoln Park Capital to raise money. It had gapped up. It's selling off significantly. 100,000 shares, so it does have the volume. I like the price point. Let's take this long. So we got the low here at 1020, 1025, technically 1035. Let's use 1040 and a 15-cent price point. That would keep us on the screen here for the move up. So again, this is, I think, profit taking is what we're seeing here. So 1040 is going to be our entry. 1025 is the low of the day. Shade that by a penny, go to 1024, so it'll technically be 1039 that we enter the stock here. So again, waiting for 1039. This is a long. There we go. Got our 1039 there. It went up and it came back down to us. So again, long. Set it up at 1024 for your low of the day, and this is going to be a crawler. This is not going to move. Make huge moves, in my opinion, just based off of average daily volume that we talked about. So 1024 is our lower stop of the day. So whatever your risk unit is, make sure you have that set appropriately, and we'll get zoomed in a little bit here. So here's where we are. If it holds the low of the day, we're going to make money. If it doesn't, then we're out and for down our 1 risk unit. All right, El Dorado, if you're dying to short, 305, $4, $3. Oh man, I think it's a left for dead company. I really do. I don't know if I can get in here though. Was down to 300, and it's I don't know. I can't call a trade in this. I do think it leaks off during the day. So it's overall, I think Estee Lauder is a short, but I don't think there's gonna be enough motion in it to be able to day trade. You can already see the low volume issues. This is having 12,000 shares. So if you're using 1,000 shares of this in your day trade, you're also 10% of the total volume for that minute. So it'll be a slow crawler for sure. All right, LDI is not doing much here, so let's take a look about some of your other ones. Some of the bigger names, Ocugen, OCGN was gapping up like 12% earlier. Here you can see it bouncing around. There's the millions of shares, going back and forth. But again, it's up out of our range, so no real ability to play that. Then you have VXRT, which same thing to the downside. Well, it was down here over almost 10%. Lots of volume, bouncing around. Ooh, that is actually not a bad entry. Get up here 10.6, get down to a 10.4 entry. I'm not taking the trade. I'm just thinking out loud there. But again, 10.6, 20 cents, down 10.20, 10.980 exit. Boy, that's actually looks pretty good. Crap, wish I'd had this on the radar scope a little earlier. That's a beautiful, again, when you're looking to short, having it back up for 3 minutes, set the high of the day, do a double top in the 4th minute, come back down, hit your entry point. That's pretty good setup, but we shall see. We're in this one, and I didn't draw the other one. So 1039 was 1040 plus 15 is 1054 is our first R, which means our exit is 1084. And 30 cents to this is 1069. Nope, nope. Can't do math. Yep, 1069. That would be our 2R point. So again, entered at 1039, and then there's your marking. So we'll leave that up there. All right, really like this short here. Okay, let's go ahead, and if you're in the GILT trade, you have to leave that for a moment as we go look around at the rest of the world and see what's going on. So in the upper left-hand corner here, you can see that BioNTech is up. There was some positive news on a variant strain I saw, so it's moving up. Clickstream in play a little bit. Moderna is moving up. GBTC and Coin both traveling north due to Bitcoin moving up. Okay, is the bottom finally in Coinbase? I think so. I thought it would hold 300. It didn't. It got down here below 300, but it's kind of getting bought and showing some strength into today. We're actually waiting on the Coinbase earnings, which let me see if I can find that real quick. Sorry, VXRT was a short. So you're looking at it back up, when it's short covering as it goes higher, and then you turn around and take it back short on VXRT. I may have misspoke there. Coinbase earnings. See if we can find that date yet. Based on its first quarter earnings. So there's the article, and public on April 19th. Don't see it. I know it's right in front of me, but I can't see it for some reason. So anyhow, Coinbase will release earnings at some point, and then we can make a decision on whether or not to stay in the stock. All right, let's see what else we have in the move today. IBM moving higher on the Palantir kind of deal partnership. That's old news, but again, crossover of the exec, I think, is a good thing. DraftKings got an upgrade. It sold off like 20%. So again, if you're used to making a ton of money in DraftKings, like we have, with a $12 entry point for most of us, you're up, 400+%, but it has sold off recently. So hopefully the bottom's in there and it'll move back higher. All right, Apple, Home Depot, Starbucks actually got some loves. I left Starbucks and I don't think I'm going back in, but they did get a big upgrade this weekend. All right, what is not working? MNMD, again, that was the listing of Mind Medicine on the NASDAQ, selling off. Nicholas has plenty of troubles. There's Tesla. It'll be interesting to watch the stock and see if it moves with Elon Musk going into the Saturday Night Live thing. I don't know if it will or not, but it'll be interesting to watch. CRISPR, Beyond Meat, so some, there's Palantir, off a percent. Probably because they're in bed with Watson. They're in bed with IBM. Just not the place to be. That's my 2 cents. All right, there's back to the green. Let's check on our trade. All right, hanging out in the red for our trade. So keep an eye on that. Interesting move out of Estee Lauder. It did have the one move up, and then it's been kind of trickling. What's that? 7-8 minutes of red candlesticks. So I think it leaks throughout the day. I'm not sure you're going to get to see a move like this one. This VXRT move is about as perfect as you can get as far as a short entry, with the backing up and then turn around and taking it short. So, all right, let's leave that though and move over to the volume definition. And before we do though, so you see the volume here on the VXRT and OCGN. We're both kind of the major players, millions of shares trading hands. So you see a lot of it, the big moves. When you have a smaller stock like this one, where there's only a few thousand shares, that's where you don't get that big move. So you don't get that whoosh, if you will, that you're looking for as a day trader. You can still, I like this trade. I think it will just sit there and climb throughout the day based off of that contract, but you don't get the whoosh, if you will. But you're also not out of your money and down your entire risk unit in 12 seconds, like I've seen that before too. As soon as you take the trade, and boom, you're right back out of it. So, all right, let's move over back to the topic of the day, volume definition here. So again, this is Investopedia. What is volume? So if a share trades, if Apex and I, good question about coin. I'll get to that in a second. If Apex and I, have one share of coin, and I sell it to him, that's one volume. That's not two. So they don't double count. So that's one transaction, if you will. So volume is the total number of transactions during a given period of time. So you have volume, and then volumes can spike around earnings. So you have what's called average daily volume. So really that's more instructive than just what it moved on one day, because there might have been a headline or something, is what does it normally move. So average daily volume, usually over 10 days, is how that you can tell whether a stock's in play or not. If you're part of the trading crowd, the Wall Street bets, all of those folks, then you need a ton of volume. Even with our system, more volume helps, right? Because you can get in and get out of your trade without a slippage. More liquid because they're more active. So again, that's where liquid is that if you go to sell 1,000 shares of something and you start selling it, it might not actually be the you could move the price. And we've seen that for Berner and I were in the same room one time, traded something to actually move the market. And it's instructive that you can, if you get in there with more volume than the daily move, you will move the price. It's important for technical analysis. You can kind of see that. I will show this. So check this out. So here's Berkshire A, and look at this volume, right? So you may be like, man, that's a lot of volume. And then you look at Berkshire B and you're like, oh, that hardly has any volume. Well, then there's a call to key over here, kids. So on BKRB, this is what, 5 million, 10 million. So the top line is 25 million shares. And when you look at Berkshire A, the top line is 5,000 shares. So even in this volatility spike, you're looking at 4,000 shares. That's a lot of money at a $410,000 price point, but still, it can be fun with graphs, right? And with the kid with doing SAT prep right now and teaching charting and chart interpretation and all that stuff on a daily basis. Yeah, I mean you can get confused just by glancing at something, but it is right there on the chart. There's a video if you want it. Understanding volume, liquidity, technical analysis, bar charts. All right, I think that is it as far as volume that's out there. So again, you need volume. We're going to go back to the charts real quick, and I'll show you the trades, and then we'll exit for the day. I'll talk to Coinbase here in a second there. So anyhow, if you'd have gotten into this trade, this BXRT, you just hit the 3R. Exit point. We weren't in it, so can't do a victory lap on it. We are in the GILT. We're up basically an R, and I think it's going to creep higher throughout the day. All right, question in the chat: is coin possibly the same opportunity as DraftKings? Absolutely not. And here's why. And this breaks my heart to even pull this chart. There's DraftKings, and let's pull a 1 year should do it. Nope. Let's go to the 3-year chart. Wheel. That did not work. Why is that not working? All right, we'll go to the 1-year chart to make my point. Okay, so here it is. Well, actually, the 3-year was better. I get it now. I see what I'm doing. All right, so we had, remember, DraftKings on 420. That's funny. basically was a SPAC, right? And it got, got SPAC'd until they made ticker change to DraftKings. So I bought it pre-SPAC, and I can't remember what the ticker was, but it was down literally in $10 to $12. And if you go under your cost basis, if you've got this with me, yeah, I mean, we've, took a huge, I sold some in the 50s, and people, just profit taking, and turned out to be wrong, right? So we took a bunch of it. I still have, it's one of my largest holdings. It's not my largest holdings anymore, but I mean, printing money in this name. That is not the same as the upside in Coinbase. When Coinbase opened at 381, I'm not projecting it to be at $1,500, which would be a similar type move. The problem with Coinbase is I think there will be a competitor. DraftKings is just a cool name. They're involved with MMA. I mean, they just said they're the NFL. They got everything going for it. Coinbase, I think, is kind of the big name in the field, but the issue is at a 2% transaction fee, that's a dinosaur fee. That's a dinosaur fee. You can't charge that for just basically buying something and selling something, in my opinion. So I like it because there's nobody else out there in scale right now, but it's not a hold forever. I think DraftKings will be a kind of hold forever type name. So anyhow, that's my take. All right. Thank you so much for checking in this morning. Great show. And again, the market's in the green. So I'm making some money today, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.